Today we will be talking about self-consolidating concrete. We will be going over what the material is, what its properties are, how it works, what its uses are, the pros and cons of the material, and some other cool information about self-consolidating concrete.
This material is a type of concrete that has properties that help it flow easily into tight spaces. Some of this concrete's properties are its good segregation resistance, meaning it doesn't separate during its self-compaction process. It also has a good filling ability, which means it can flow under its own weight with no vibration needed. One of the last main properties of self-consolidating concrete is its high passing ability, which keeps its homogeneity.
This concrete works in a way that helps it flow easily through tight spaces when we have no other ways of compacting the concrete into the forms through the rebar. We would use this concrete when we may not have access to vibrators for the consolidation of concrete, or when it is hard to use them in the space in which we are working.
There's many pros to self-consolidating concrete. One of the most obvious good things about using this concrete is that it lowers labor costs. It does this because it can be placed faster without the need for vibrations. It is easier to pump through the concrete pump truck, as well as its great surface finish, needing little to no remedial surface work. Some more pros of this material is that it is easy to fill restricted areas, and the job safety is increased because there is no need for compaction. One of the many other positives to this type of concrete is that it majorly reduces equipment wear and tear. Plus, it allows for every innovative architectural feature due to its ability to flow nicely throughout formwork and its smooth, nice surface area.
There's few cons to self-consolidating concrete. One of its biggest downfalls is that it has a very slow casting rate because of its high fluidity. Due to its low water cement ratio, plastic shrinkage cracks may occur, but this can be avoided by curing properly. Because of SCC's properties, highly skilled and experienced workers are required for the production of SCC. The last downfall to this material is that it is more costly than other conventional concrete.
Some of the factors that affect this type of concrete are hot weather. This affects it as it would normal concrete by speeding up the water loss in the concrete, affecting the chemical reaction and reducing the concrete's ending strength. Also, long haul distances can affect the concrete's flowability through water loss and overmixing the concrete's ingredients. Lastly is when workers try to add water on the job site to increase flowability and try to improve the concrete. It ends up negatively affecting the concrete's strength and how it sets up.
Self-consolidating concrete has some cool information because of its properties. SCC can be completely poured out of a truck in as little as 1 minute. Since this material has such a high flowing ability, it can be turned into art with how easily it is to detail the castings. Since SCC is so sloshy, ready-mix trucks often can't fill their trucks all the way up because the mix moves around too much. Ready-mix trucks have even been overturned because of how much the SCC moves while in it. And if filled too high, there can be potential spills along the roadway.
Some of the ideal applications for this concrete is drilled shafts, columns, earth retaining systems, and areas with high concentrations of rebar, pipe, or conduit. It is ideal for these situations because its high flowability allows it to flow easily throughout all formwork around rebar and pipes with little or no segregation. And since it self-compacts, it greatly reduces labor and reduces the risk of messing the concrete up. Also, the strength of this concrete allows it to work very well with earth retaining systems and columns.
This type of concrete can be tested on the job site for quality by the traditional slump test and column segregation test. There are lots more tests that can be done, but these two are fairly common. The slump test usually has a slump range of 18 to 32 inches. The column segregation test is done by taking already poured concrete and putting it in a tube made of 3 parts. After a set time, you take the top portion weigh it, and record the coarse aggregate. You then discard the middle section and do the same thing with the bottom section as you did with the top and compare the two.
Overall, self-consolidating concrete is a great concrete that has many uses. Although there is not always a need for this type of concrete, it has so many benefits when used. SCC was conceptualized in 1986, and the concrete industry has been making improvements on it ever since.